Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to do a G-Journal review with the title Rees Law Made Performance PISA 2012 Impact of Assistance to Early Childhood Education and Other Possible Cognitive Variables. Before starting the presentation, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Meliana Pertiwi. My registration number is 2020-16-112. I'm from Kuningan University Mathematics Education. And don't forget, I want to thank the author in this journal. She is Esperanza Brosela Herreras. Well, I will start a review journal. We can move the next slide. Mathematics competencies are critical in the development of individuals. There are several variables that can predict for performance in these competitions. These variables may be related to self-learner and teacher who instructs. An objective analyze the risk of poor performance depending of several variables, attending early childhood education, learning strategies, and strategies used by the teachers to use it. Method in this journal is no experimental, and data we use in the database PISA 2012 for Spain provided by the Ministry of Education, Culture, and Sport. The generated data sample consists of 25,313 Spaniards of both sexes, aged 15 years, belonging to 102 schools that are distributed throughout the national territory of Spain. Dependent variables is performance in mathematics, and independent variables is different variables were considered. Attendance and duration of early childhood education. It is the variable that has more predictive capability of risk of all analyzed. Discussion, there are variables that increase the risk and other reduce this risk. It is possible to prevent low performance in mathematics competencies. For example, we need to pursue of teaching of quality early childhood education, knowing their long-term benefits and not only ensure access to it for all children. The introduction, the Program for International Student Assessment or PISA 2012, the Organization for Education, Cooperation and Development with respect to which factor has the best predictive capacity of low performance in mathematics in PISA 2012, either attendance in early childhood education or strategies for using strategies by the students themselves and by the teachers. The focus of interest within the PISA framework in 2012 was based on mathematical competencies, for which two-thirds of the depth framework was dedicated to their evaluation, as was the case for the evaluation for reading literacy skills in 2009 and also for evaluation of scientific skills in 2015. And variables of this investigation, we can see the figure 1. The figure 1 is a model percentage which includes the different variables that have been considered as being predictive of low performance in mathematical competencies in PISA 2012. Dependent variables in mathematical competence. We can see the table 1. The table 1 is show the descriptive statistic in overall context of the mathematical competence, dimensions, and process. And next, the table 2. The table 2 underperforming level 1 in mathematical literacy, frequency, and percentage, and 19.5% of school children have low performance in mathematical competencies. And the table 3, the association between the dependent variable performance in mathematical competencies and the main independent variables attendance in early childhood education under study has had the statistical difference. Attendance in early childhood education is the independent variable. We can see the table 4. The table 4 is show the descriptive characteristic frequency, and percentage of the participant in the sample presented in study. From the total numbers of Spanish students participating in PISA 2012 early childhood education, 98.5% had attended for a period of at least 1 year. Teaching strategies and the pupil. Strategies for student-centered learning in mathematics. We can see the table 5. The table 5 shows the questionnaire on learning strategies in mathematics. Teaching strategies. Teaching strategies can be classified or according to the study in PISA 2012. In this study, we focus on four strategies. Cognitive activation strategies. We can see the table 6. The table 6 are presented the questionnaire cognitive activation strategies. Teacher directed instruction. We can see the table 7. The table 7 is questionnaire strategies of subtype teacher directed instructions. And the student orientation, we can see the table 8. The table 8 is question related to student orientation. Are presented teaching strategies of subtype student orientation. And last, formative assessment. Formative assessment, we can see the table 9. The table 9 is our percentage teaching strategies of the subtype student orientation. And data analysis of this journal is in order to predict the occurrence of low performance based on a set of predictor variables. We opted for a binary logistic regression analysis. The predictor considered variables are attendance in early childhood education, learning strategies used by the pupil, and teaching strategies. Result, we can see the table 10. The table 10 is a presented result of the binary logistic regression. And the last discussion and conclusion in this journal is the aim of study was to identify which factor has the more predictive ability with respect to underperformance in mathematical competencies. For this purpose, two factors were selected whose occurrence in the life of the pupil occurs at two different stages. The first stage is attendance in early childhood education, and the second stage is relative use of strategies by the pupils themselves and by teaching strategies like the secondary stage of education. The result of the analysis of binary logistic regression clearly saw that the factor with the greater predictive capability of the probability of underperformance in attendance in early childhood education, having a significantly greater probability than in the other variables which were analyzed in the study. Thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.